Hey guys, hope all is well. So I have a video for you today regarding record producers and how you may use it if you haven't used it much before. I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks. So on the left hand side here we got the record producer called ARP test. It's working on the incident table, and on the right side here you can see the specific record producer on a portal. So this is a custom portal that I built. So to put the record producer on a portal, what you need to do is scroll down to assigned topics, and here is you want to assign it. So you assign it to a specific taxonomy, which is the portal, and then you provide a topic. So in here it's in the Orkla taxonomy, and topic it's arbeidsforhold. So I'm in the Orkla portal, and then I'm gonna click on arbeidsforhold, which is a topic. And on the bottom here, you can see we got the request right here. Perfect. So when I create a record producer on a portal, you may want to add some specific tags to it, which is this specific field. And there you can add whatever. You usually want to add something that is, relevant to the specific record producer or the form that you're working on. But you can also add some other stuff that it's not relevant at all. So for example, if I just press or write cars here, I can also add more stuff with a comma. Let's just write that. So I'm gonna save it, and now we can see if we can find it on the portal or not. Usually it takes a little bit of time for this to get up and running, so let me refresh that and let me search for cars to see if it's gonna pop up. Not yet, but this will in a few seconds in my experience. There we are. So RP test, something cool, right? So that's quite handy if you don't want to use like AI search and all of that stuff. So let me remove that. So who is this for? So now we can choose different ones. So this is a reference field to the SysUser table. So let us take a look at that. Who's this for? So now let's say we want to pre-fill this with the current logged in user. We can actually do that by the default value. So you can see this is a reference, and it's gonna be mapped to the caller on the incident table. Who is this for? And on the default value, we can add some JavaScript here actually by just saying JavaScript and a semicolon here. And then we're gonna do GS for glide system and get user ID. So it's important here to write this correctly. So we are simply getting the logged in user right here. Let's save that and see what's up. So we have made a save here. So now let's refresh this site to see what's going on. So now we can see we got my the logged in user inserted here, which is me. Nice. And what's cool about this reference field we got here now, that we can dot walk to that SysUser to get the email and phone number. And this is very easy to use using that auto populate field right here. So let's go back to the email question variable now to see we can pre-fill that with the email from the SysUser. So let's go into email and let's find that auto populate related list here. And now we can see we can press on this lookup record, and now we will find all the different question variables that are reference fields. So this is one, so we can press on this one, and we can see this is a reference to the SysUser, which is correct. And now we can dot walk to stuff on that record. So we want the email, right? So that's the email. So let's make an update on that one. So let's see if I got an email or not. So I'm going into the user of myself, And here we have the email admin. So let's see if that's gonna pop up right here. There we have it. So it's now pre-filled right in. Very nice. So we can do the same for phone number. So I'm going to go into phone number. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. And let's do something else to this one as well. Because a phone number is usually 8 characters. So let's try to max it to that. So first I'm in here, auto populate. Let's populate it to the same variable. And now we want to find, this was the phone. So I think this is the business phone. So let's me save that. And also let's go into type specification. And now in this variable attribute, we can add how, like a max length of how long this could be, or is allowed to be. So we can do max length is 8. And I'm saving that with Control S. So let's see how that turns out to be. So I'm making a refresh on the portal. And now you can see the phone number is correctly being put in here. We also have this regis, validation regex. So we only want numbers, right? So let's try to do that as well. I'm gonna put that to number, make a save. And in the meantime, we can try to add more characters here. And now I'm typing, but it doesn't allow me to go more than 8 characters. So that is working perfectly fine. And now we got that regex running as well. Let me just make a refresh on that form. And let's see if we can add some, so we can add now, but if I now press tab, we get this error that it's not a number. And we can do the same for email. So there is an email regex as well here. So we can use that for the email as well to make that. Yeah, so let's move on. So do you need A, B, and C? So this is a yes and no question variable. So let's take a look at how that is looking like. So history, let's go to the record producer. I find it a little bit funny that it's called yes and no variable and not like a boolean. That is more obvious. So this is the do you need A, B, and C? So this is a yes and no type. And here we can also make, so I've included none, which means that this none is going to pop up. But you can also remove it, so it go directly to no and or yes. And we can also add a default value here. And what's funny here is that you need to press the label and not the value. So if you say no here, it's gonna add a new value here. So what you will need to do is go for a capital N to make the default new, default no. So let's do that. So let's make another variable that will come up if this is yes. So this is very simple with a UI policy. So now you can see this is now default no. So let's update this to go back again. And now let's create a new variable. So the order is what is coming first here. So if the order is closer to 0, it's gonna start on top and go down. So many people like myself is like having 50 or 100 between, because if you need one more question variable, for example, if you have 1, 2, 3, and you want a new variable between 1 and 2, it's going to be like you have to change all of the different orders, right? But if you have it like this, you have enough room to create one in the middle. So that's what we're going to do now. So do you need ABC? So now we need 450. Can we do? So I'm going to click on new. So if the person says yes, we want to have another field going up. So who said yes, blah blah. Okay, so this is gonna be for 50. So let's submit that. So we can use this map to field if we want to map it to a specific field on the incident. But right now I'm only testing. So now let's create a UI policy for this. So I'm gonna click new. So if ABC is yes. So the condition is do you need ABC? If that is yes, we want to do something. And right now, if you just start with this, you need to save here. It's not very logical, but you need to save, and then you get this policy action that comes up. So now we're gonna press, okay, what are we gonna do when this is yes? So when this is yes, we want to find this new variable that we created. And what are we gonna do about it? Yes, we want to make it visible now. And let's make it mandatory as well. So let's submit that. And update. So now let's refresh here to see if that works. So now it's in no, right? So let's put it to yes. And now we can see we got this new question variable that we just created, and it's mandatory. Nice. So let's do something else about this question date question here. So let's say we want to put it to today's date. So we can do that as well in that default field that we got. So let's go to variables. Let's go into the date question. And now I can bring this sheet I got here. So again, we can go to default value, and now we can paste in again that JavaScript. So we're saying we want to have some JavaScript here, and then saying what we're going to do. So we are accessing this glide datetime API, and then we get display value. So let us save that and see if that does anything. So let us refresh this one, and let's take a look at the date. So now you can see it's in the date that we are currently in, because in Norwegian we are having days, month, and then year, and this is a bit different. So but it's the same date, as we can see. So let's say we don't want this current date. We want this to be populated to 2 weeks ahead, for example. Then we can do this, for example. So we can use JavaScript again, and again we can do multiple lines here. So we're accessing the same glide datetime that we just did. Then we're gonna add 14 days, which is gonna be equal to 2 weeks, right? So this is the specific code that we're gonna use. So let us try that. So now you can see this is the current date, and we are 2 weeks ahead. So that is perfect. So now I want to, let's try something else. So let's see, so this question, or this, so this is a reference field, right? We can also have a list collection type question. And when we click on this drop down, now we got the name of the specific SUS user, and we also get this, the email of it. So let's say we want another we want to see 3 different fields, or this, for example, the name and the manager, for example. And this can be done by this specific line, which you can see here. So I can explain that a bit more. So let's go up to, let's find this one again. Who is this for? So I'm going to scroll down. Who is this for? we can do this in that, what is that field called? Let's go into type specification, and here in the variable attributes, we can send this. So this is pretty much accessing this specific, I think it is API, but this is the most important thing. So ref, and then we can choose now which kind of stuff we want to take a look at. And we are using this semicolon to, so we're not using a comma, but this is the type we want to use. So now we want to see the manager and the email. And we also want to see the name, but that is default, that is the display value. So we don't need to do anything about that. So just save that, so let's refresh. And now if we click on this drop down, we can see that we have the person, the name, and we also got the manager, and we got that email. So that is perfect, right? Very cool. So now let's try something else. So in this category, so if we look at an incident, for example, let's go to a random one that is active. So our backend in the form, when you choose a specific category, for example, software, this subcategory is going to be filtered down on this one. So now we can see we have email, we have operation systems. If I now choose hardware, we have different subcategories. So this subcategory is dependent on this category field. And this is not happening out of the box in the record producer, so we want to do that right now. So let us see how it looks here. So I can choose the category. So let's take a look at that specific variable so we all know what's going on. So like so this is a select box, and a select box you can choose different fixed values, but you can also look at values from a field. So now we are looking at that specific field in the incident form to choose between the different values here. So let us go to record producer again. So this was the caller. So this category, let's take a look at that. Just to see. So what we actually need to do here, because this is the client script, or this is the, you know, the client side, we need to go back to the backend and to find the specific values here for the different category, and then we need to send it back to the client side. So we need a client side and a script include for this. It also you could also do it in different ways, but this is the most reliant or the best way to do it, especially if you create new different fields here or new user choice values. Okay, so let's look at this specific category. So this is just a named category, and here it's choice tables. We are looking at the incident table, and then we are looking at the choice field, which is category. Right, so let's take a look at that other. So the subcategory is very much the same, so we don't need to look at that. But this is the one thing that we want to look at, the catalog client script, which is this one. So I think this is already working, so let's see, and then we can check out the different scripts. So category is, for example, inquiry help, and now you can see this one is being applied or queried. So hardware, now you can see we got different ones, so this is working. So let's take out that I can do CI for script include. So what did I name that? So we can find that script on my CodeSimNow site. So this is actually the one that you can find. So you can search for this in the top navigation bar, and then we'll get this. So this is the client script, and then we have the script included here. So this was the one. Let me just find that. Yeah, it was the first one. Okay, so what is happening here? So on the client side, in this line here, we're sending the new value. So we're sending the value of the category to the backend here, and then we're getting that specific category right here, and then we are running a query on the sys choice table, and then we are getting back the different subcategories for that category, and then we are sending that back to the client side, and we're getting the answer right here, and then we're going to use that answer to populate the different the choice list. So hope you liked that video. I know it was a bit of a long one, but this is something that is, if you haven't worked with record producers before, this can be very beneficial, because you will get into these kind of problems during your development. So hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you in the next one.